Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be setting up a bullet journal for this month of January, which is the first month of the year. This video I was super late, so I apologize for that. I actually filmed and had everything done a couple of days ago, but my file was not the way I wanted. The lighting was really bad and I decided to just redo everything from start to finish. So it took me a couple of days longer, but I actually like how it turned out so much better. And this theme, I will be making a night sky theme featuring the stickers I got from Happy Planner. I made an outline with the black paper into the arc to look like a window, and then I used this craft paper to draw the mountain and the skyline and adding the stars. I chose this theme also because I am actually currently reading the ACOTAR series, or A Court of Thorns and Roses, so if you're familiar with that, please drop that in the comment section. The paper I used in this setup, the black paper, is from the Archer and Olive notebook that I had left over. It's actually running out, so I'm having to find another black paper soon. And for the craft paper, I got one off of Amazon. This is probably the best one to print out and use in the journal, so I'll be sure to link that for you. And for the white ink, I used Sakura Jelly Roll Pen. It is actually pretty hard to use on the black paper because it is old and the tip is clogged, but it actually gives me the nice textures for the moon, so it doesn't look too smooth, and I really like how everything turned out, especially with the stars, even though it took me a while because I have to keep unclogging the tip of the pen. And lastly, I wrote January using my Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. This is by far one of my most used brush pen to write the big header, because the smaller one will give you a finer tip, but this is a perfect size for me. And here's my cover page, very simple. On the next spread is gonna be my quote. I used this black post-it note from the brand Post-it, which is really nice and black. Then I grabbed my stickers from Happy Planner that I showed earlier. I'll be using the moon and stars on this spread. I am such a sucker for stars and moons because I was born on Monday, and in my culture, they believe Monday is the day of the moon. Also, this year, the start of the year is on the new moon day, so I am really excited. And after I finished my stickers, I just used the same Sakura white pen to add the glitters and the stars to match with my overall theme. As for the quote of this month, I chose "Stay Wild, Moonchild," which represents me and my emotions. I want to be exploring my inner child, inner energy, and want to be expressive more this year. So yes, that's why this is the quote that I decided. And while I'm doing the quote, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about my hand lettering journey. I started calligraphy maybe in 2017 when I discovered bullet journal, and at first I followed the girl, her name is Kelly Creates on Instagram. She made such a beautiful hand lettering, so I decided to practice and learn as well. I found this brush pen from Amanda Reshley's recommendation, and I've been loving it since. So if you're interested in learning calligraphy, just grab a set of brush pen. I'll be putting the link for you, and go online, find some templates and practice, and after that you'll find the joy of hand lettering. Next up, we have the calendar spread. This year, like I mentioned earlier in the last video, I'll be using my Hobonichi weeks to do most of the plannings, especially for my to-do list and my work. So I'll be using my bullet journal as my keepsake, my personal, my diary, and the creativity outlet. I am excited to separate them because this way I don't have to worry about planning or mixing them or running out of paper. And for the calendar setup, I was gonna use my hand to do circle and write out the dates, but then I just gave up on my uneven circle, so I went to get my templates to use. I used this brush pen to color in the gray tone, but it is really light, so you might not see on the camera, but I do like it this way because it's not distracting. And on the top of the calendar, I wrote down the days of the week. I like to start the week on Monday. If you start on Sunday, feel free to adjust according to your preference. I tried starting on Sunday before, but it just didn't work out for me, so I kept it on Monday. And for the decoration, I grabbed the leftover craft paper and I used my rubber stamp that I had in my drawer. And lastly, I just added a final touch with the sticker from the Happy Planner, and now my calendar spread is all set. And up next, here's my habit tracker. I was contemplating if I should do a habit tracker or not, but I decided to do it anyway because there are some things in my life that I usually do on and off, like exercising or journaling. I just want to keep track on how often I do them and maybe I can do more. For the header, I switched up to use silver pen instead of the white pen because of the ink flow I mentioned earlier. This pen is from uni and I'll be sure to link it for you. It has a nice and smooth gliding. Actually comes with a white as well, but I lost the white pen, so I might have to get another replacement. And I need to mention this corner punch here. It is a lifesaver for my bullet journal setup. I use it so many times to punch all the corners of my scrapbooks and my scrap papers. And then after decorating, I use my stamp to stamp out the calendar. I've learned from my previous mistakes that every time I stamp directly on my bullet journal, I somehow mess it up. So I stamped it on the scratch paper instead. This is from my previous year's bullet journal, so it's exact same kind of paper and it looks just like the paper I used this year. So yes, the perk of being a hoarder. And then I got this other stamp kit from Daiso, which is a Japanese dollar store, but you might have something similar in your country or in your town. I used this little frame to stamp on craft paper, and then I cut it out and paste on my habit tracker. I used this double-sided glue from Tombow. I just put a little bit of the glue on the corners so that if I need to move or take them out, I can easily peel it off and stick it again just in case I mess up. And finally, I use my fine liner to write out all the habits that I want to track. So mainly, I just want to journal, exercise, read, and clean my house. Let's move on to the next spread, which is the goals tracker. I mentioned earlier this year that I would set my goals into quarterly goals and I want to separate them into 12 weeks. So a lot of people call the 12-week years. This is the trend this year, I guess, because a lot of time when you set a yearly goal, it is hard to keep on track. And once you fall off track, let's say in 3 months, you don't want to keep going. So to me, it feels like if I were set a shorter goals and make them into 12-week spans, we can see better what we do and adjust accordingly. So if something doesn't work out, we can just eliminate it and start over. We don't have to wait until the end of the year to reset anymore. For the decoration, I just matched it with the habit tracker. I again used the rubber stamp I had, and for some reason, I went through my stationery this month and found a lot of things that are useful for this spread. So I'm really happy to bring them back to life again. And as for the setup, I make it very simple. Each box represents each weeks of the month. So this month has 5 weeks, right? So we're just gonna do 5 boxes, and then I will write down what I plan to do in these 5 weeks according to my goals. And if some of you don't want to do it this way, you can make this into a monthly goal or to make into any spread according to your preference. I just come back to decorate a little bit more with the stars and the stamps, and that is it for my goals and habit tracker. And finally, our last spread of the month is our weekly setup, but because this video came out on the second week of the month, so this might be a bit too late for the party, but I am using this one for my weekly diary. What I'm gonna do is that I'm not gonna separate into each days, but I will go back to my week, go through my memory, and then write out about my days and my weeks and what I have done. And maybe I'll add some photos and some stickers to decorate on my spread. If it's nice enough and shareable, I might post the picture on Instagram. But usually when I do a diary, it is pretty messy, so I'll try to make it aesthetically pleasing this month. But basically, if you don't like to have a structure, if you don't like to have structural bullet journal, you can also set it up this way on your next week. Just have a space for the whole week and then see what's coming to you. Make some space for the priority and the next week's goals or a little to-do list, and that should be enough for the setup. And here is the final flip through for this month's setup. I really like how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and if you haven't done already, please click like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.